if you truly need to see the impact of how Rahu's transit into Aquarius is going to play out in the mind, in your decision making, in the choices that you make, and where the mind is going to lean towards when you are going to make important choices, and sometimes when you have to make a choice between two alternates, then you truly need to see how the transit of Rahu into Aquarius is going to play its effect on where your moon is placed in your natal chart. Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We have been doing this entire series of different transits of larger planets, moving slowly towards their transits into different signs, different houses. And in this series, we have already covered Jupiter's transit into Gemini. We have covered the transit of Saturn into Pisces, and we are going to also cover a series of transits that Rahu and Ketu are going to do from a rising sign point of view, from a moon sign point of view, and also from a point of view of their natal chart placements in your birth chart. So today we are going to talk about Rahu's transit into Aquarius from your moon sign perspective, which means wherever or whichever sign moon is placed in your natal chart, converting that into the Lagna, and from that moon sign, seeing how Rahu is going to play a part and effect for that particular sign, the decision making, the approach to life, and how you are going to make choices during this transit. So let's start with the Aries rising sign for moon sign perspective, which means the moon is in your Aries sign in your natal chart. So for Aries moon sign people, Rahu is moving into 11th house into Aquarius. So now Rahu, being the north node of the moon, has a strong bearing on the ability of the mind to think, to focus, to concentrate, and to make decisions. So what Rahu's transit into Aquarius will do for Aries rising sign people will be how you will be able to make decisions between different alternates, between choices. For example, if you are facing problems, if there is a firefighting issue, and also the emotional makeup and the leanings that you have during this transit. So for Aries rising sign, it will impact the 4th house because moon rules the 4th house, as well as the Lagna because moon is placed in the Lagna for Aries, and it will also impact the houses that the Lagna lord Mars rules, which is the Lagna here, that is the Aries sign, and the 8th house. So what will be the impact of Rahu going into the sign of Aquarius for Aries moon sign people? So firstly, Rahu is going to impact how you will be thinking during time in terms of making choices. So wherever there is a choice for your well-being, wherever there is a choice for your domestic life, wherever there is a choice for your peace, your tranquility, wherever there is a choice for where your interest lies, wherever there is a choice for where you will find greater stability, all of these are connected to emotional status. So here, Rahu will have a strong impact on what kind of decisions you'll make. And specifically because moon is in the Aries sign, so for Aries sign, which is a go-getting energy, which is a motivational energy, which is an ambitious oriented energy, Rahu will give impetus to you to be wanting to go and get what you want, from a stature point of view, from a stability point of view, from a point of view of where you find that you will have more peace, tranquility, and you will find more satisfaction or happiness at home. Same thing, Rahu will also impact the 4th house, which is ruled by the Cancer sign. So wherever Rahu is placed in your natal chart, if it has a strong bearing of either the Cancer sign or moon, either by its aspect or its conjunction or placement either in the Cancer sign or with the moon or aspecting them, then it will have a strong bearing on both the Aries sign, which your moon lies, as well as the Cancer sign, which is the 4th house for Aries rising sign people. So domestic life will be under focus. Your investments will be under focus, specifically related to investments which are catering to conveniences, cars, houses, land, or something that you are looking at for financial security in the long run. All this will be impacted by Rahu. Secondly, the houses that the Aries sign ruler Mars rules, which is the Lagna as well as the 8th house, because moon is placed in their Aries sign ruled by Mars. So moon will also have a strong impact on what kind of decision that you make. Now Mars is a strategic planet. It is a planet of strategy, to be able to go get the energy Moon is placed in Aries. So it's going to heighten the impetus, the emotional aspect of wanting to go and get stature in society, wanting to have a better standing in society, wanting more peace, wanting more tranquility. And Rahu is going to give the impetus, going to give you the push. So on the emotional front also, you will find there is a strong urge towards stability, strong urge towards peace, strong urge towards wanting to have more financial security, wanting to have assets which will help you make your home good, will make you feel stable home, having your own home. So you will all be focused towards making assets during this time, and also to have more peace and tranquility and more stability in life. Secondly, Mars rules the 8th house also. So the 8th house effect will also play a part. So what is Rahu going to do for the 8th house effect? 8th house, you're a Scorpio sign. So there will be strong focus on transformation or change. So you are going to focus on trying to have a strong change in how you lead your life so far, what kind of a job you do, what kind of a role you're playing, whether you are getting the right remuneration in your domestic life also. If your domestic life is stable, then you may want to have more stability. You may want to have more peace and happiness at home. However, if you find that domestic life is not stable, then some of you may make decisions which will either make your domestic life stable or will also get into a committed relationship, stabilizing the 4th house, stabilizing the home front also. On the other hand, there may be transformation or changes. There may be sudden firefighting issues also, because of which some of you may feel a little lost at the start of the transit. However, as the time goes by and you are able to have a better grip on your emotional side, you will see that you are able to take better decision making also. However, keep in mind that whenever there is a choice between decision making, you may assume that a practical decision is being taken. However, because Rahu is impacting the mind, there will always be an emotional component. You will want to feel happy. You may want to feel satisfied. You may want to feel at peace. You may want to feel at ease before you take a decision. So overall, for the Aries moon sign people, moon has a strong bearing on the results that you are going to get, the choices that you're going to make, the decision that you'll make. And Rahu will have a strong bearing on the moon, being the north node on the moon. So be aware and keep in mind that there will be times where you may lean towards more emotional decision making rather than practical decision making, assuming it's a more practical decision to make. So as long as you keep that in mind, and as long as you're focused on and keeping the Rahu energies in check, this can be a great transit for you, specifically because Jupiter is also coming into the play, and Jupiter is also giving the more wisdom and also giving more energy to Rahu to be able to make more stable decisions, wise decisions, including that of partnership, including that of relationship. So because Rahu and Jupiter both are aspecting the 7th house, which is also being aspected by moon, so relationship, partnerships, teamwork is going to be of the essence. So if you're going to make a choice of getting into a relationship, establishing a domestic life, because moon is aspecting the 7th house, moon rules the 4th house, and moon is in the Lagna, in the Aries go-getting energy. So some of you may even go for a partnership. Some of you may make a decision to wanting to go it alone rather than working under somebody. You may want to do something on your own and maybe establish your own practice. Maybe do something, maybe get into a business, get into a partnership, into business, maybe even into a committed relationship, or some of you may even partner with your spouses to start something. So overall, for Aries moon sign perspective, start off very exciting times. And if you take the right decision, if you temper decision making with the wisdom which Jupiter offers and keep the Rahu's greed and hunger in check, then this is the best time for Aries moon sign people to have a go-getting energy, to be able to go and get assets, to make better, get more financial stability, as well as get more happiness and tranquility in life. Now, for those people who are born in the Taurus moon sign, which means moon lies in your Taurus sign in your natal chart. So firstly, moon is an exaltation sign in your Lagna, because we were looking at from a moon sign. So moon is in Taurus. So we're looking at the Taurus Lagna. So moon from an emotional point of view is exalted in the Taurus sign. And moon also rules the 3rd house. Now Rahu has a strong bearing on the ability of the moon to think, to make decisions, to make choices, because Rahu is the north node of the moon. Wherever sun and moon's orbits clash, there you have the Rahu and Ketu as the constructing points. And that's why Rahu and Ketu are the north node and the south node of the moon. Keep that in mind. So Rahu has a strong bearing on how the mind functions, how the decisions are taken, how the choices are going to be made. So moon being in Taurus, Rahu is going to enhance how you are going to make choices about the Taurus related aspects. For example, nutrition, about what kind of values you have, what kind of approach you have towards stability, towards income, to livelihood. All that is going to have a strong impact, and you will see that you're more focused towards those choices. And because moon also rules the Cancer sign, so you will also, Rahu also the strong bearing on the effort that you put in, how you will be branding yourself, how you will be communicating with people, how you will be connecting with people. So sometimes you may also find that you are putting in more effort to be able to get certain decisions connected to livelihood, connected to your remuneration also, and at the same time nutrition. So you may find some of you may overindulge in food also or drinks, so be careful during this time, because Rahu is strongly going to impact your wanting to take in more nutrition. The food habits, the dietary habits may also be impacted strongly. Secondly, because the third house is also the house of artistic denotation, moon is also artistic denotation. Some of you may indulge into something artistic. Somebody may want to play music, somebody may want to learn a new instrument, somebody may want to bring more creativity in their work. And if you do that, then you are going to get fantastic results. Secondly, Rahu is also going to impact the houses which are ruled by the sign where moon is placed. So, which is the Lagna lord of Taurus sign? Venus. But Venus also rules the Libra sign, which is the sixth house in the for those people who have the Taurus moon sign. So Venus being the ruler of the Lagna, Taurus sign, as well as the Libra sign, so you are going to have a strong impact on how you are going to take emotional decisions during, or choices for those people who work under you or those people who work below you. So here you will find that you may have greater empathy for some of those people who are working under you. If you like them, then your empathy may be more enhanced. You may feel more emotional about them. You may want to be more supportive towards them. Sometimes you may want to be more caring towards them. But on the other hand, if you don't like them, then heaven help them, because then you're going to give them a tough time. So try and be more balanced during this time. Try and be more emotionally balanced so that you don't lean more towards either this side or that side. Secondly, for those people on whose natal chart Rahu has some impact on the moon, either through conjunction or aspecting the moon in your natal chart, or either placed in the Cancer sign or aspecting the Cancer sign in your natal chart, for you there is going to be stronger bearing of what kind of results you get during this period, during Rahu's transit in the Aquarius sign. And for career, you will be wanting to have more stability in career. You may want to have more calmness in your career. You may want to have you may want to feel more cared. You may want to feel more aligned towards career, because that's what Rahu does. Rahu impacts the mind, and Rahu is placed in the Aquarius sign, and moon is in the Lagna. So obviously, you are going to feel that if you're not feeling very aligned, then you may also want to change. You may also be looking out for a job during this period. My suggestion would be, don't be in a hurry to get out of a certain role just because you don't feel completely aligned to the role, or you're not happy and satisfied. Take a decision based on practicality. Now, this is going to be difficult because Rahu is the north node of the moon. Rahu is going to impact how decisions and choices are going to be made. However, if Rahu has less connection with moon or Cancer sign in your natal chart, then there is a stronger chance you may take a more practical decision rather than an emotional decision. So be on your guard, be careful of what kind of decision you make. Now, moon is impacting with its seventh aspect the Scorpio sign. So here you may also want a transformation or change in the current status of life. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whichever situation in life you are, you may want a change. You may want that you bring in a change in those circumstances if you're not satisfied with them, including partnership, including teamwork, including how you work with people. So be on your guard, because moon rules the third house, so you may put in extra effort to reach out to people or align with people or get into a relationship with people, or you may come out as overzealous. So control those urges also. And because Rahu's focus or aspect is on the second house, on Jupiter, and also on the Libra sign ruled by the Lagna Lord Venus, so the impact will be stronger. But you may get into a challenge with somebody who's of the opposite gender at work, because Rahu's ninth aspect is on the sixth house of enemies, people who work behind your back, whom you see as competition. So be on your guard not to get into trouble with the opposite gender at work, because that may impact how you're seen at work. Secondly, this is a great time, but don't make an emotional decision about livelihood or remuneration, because Rahu aspect is the second house. Be on your guard and be more controlled. Now, Jupiter's aspect on Rahu is going to some extent handle the extra emotional urges, and also what kind of trouble you get with somebody of the opposite gender at work. However, be on your guard, because sometimes you are taking a very wise decision, but it may be going against you. So be on your guard, be more balanced during this time, and this is a great period, especially with moon being exalted in the Taurus sign, for a better livelihood, better remuneration. So go for it. Now, Saturn's aspect is also on the moon in the Lagna. So this means that Saturn will be giving you more stability in your choices, also more stability in terms of how you're looking at the future. And so this is going to help you in your career, because Saturn also rules the 10th house, where Aquarius sign is placed. So Aquarius sign is where Saturn also rules and Rahu is placed, and Saturn is also aspecting the moon in the Taurus sign in the Lagna for a moon sign, Taurus moon sign. So here it's going to overall impact what kind of stable results that you get over the next few years. So whatever you do, this is going to not change much over the next 2.5 to 3 years. So be careful of what kind of decision you make. Now, for those people who have a Gemini moon sign, which means moon is lying in the sign of Gemini in your natal chart. Now, Jupiter also transiting into Gemini and have already transited, which means Jupiter is kind of creating a mini or a pseudo Gachkesari yoga, because the conjunction of Jupiter and moon is the Gachkesari yoga. So Jupiter and the moon energies are coming together in the Lagna for a Gemini moon sign person. So this is going to be a very auspicious period for you, especially connected to communication, especially connected to what kind of efforts you put in, how you're going to impact people, how you're going to be able to brand yourself. So very, very strong results may come basis your communication skills. However, because Jupiter has gone into the Lagna for a Gemini moon sign person, so here it is going to be a great period for trying to be more creative in your communication and get better results, specifically with Rahu impacting that also, with Rahu's aspect being on the moon and Jupiter. Now, Rahu is the north node of the moon. So obviously it is going to have a strong bearing and strong impact on the kind of decision that you make, whether emotional or less emotional decision, but it is surely going to have an impact on the mind. So basis what kind of a relationship Rahu is making in your natal chart. So for example, if Rahu is either placed in the Cancer sign, or aspecting the Cancer sign, or conjunct with moon, or aspecting the moon in your natal chart, it will have a stronger bearing of how the Gachkesari yoga is activated. Though it is a pseudo Gachkesari yoga or a short-term Gachkesari yoga, how it is activated, because that period, those 18 months are going to be great for you. Now, Rahu also aspects the Libra sign in the 5th house, the 5th house of creativity. So from the moon sign perspective, it is going to be a period of high creativity. So when you give presentations, keep a focus on what you are saying, because whatever you say is going to have a strong impact. So if you don't prepare well, if you don't do your data very well, if your presentations are not well organized, it may come across as more stronger than normally, because this is going to have a greater impact. Whatever you say is going to have a greater impact. So choose your words very wisely, whether you're saying something positive or negative. Choose your words very positively or carefully. And at the same time, there is a change that is also being given to you as an opportunity in your career, specifically because Rahu rules the Aquarius sign also along with Saturn, and Saturn, the ruler of the Aquarius sign, is placed in your 10th house from your moon sign perspective. The moon is in Gemini in your natal chart. So career is getting activated. New opportunity coming in through some connection that you have. So some relationship coming back and asking you, would you want to work with me? Or there is an opening here, would you want to go there? That kind of a thing may happen. And for those people who are not having great rapport with your bosses, this is the time that you work on the rapport. You work on the quality of your relations with your bosses, because this is going to have a strong impact. Whatever decision that you take in terms of your career, role, whatever projects you're taking up, this will have a longer bearing, not only 2.5, 3 years, but it's maybe even longer. So keep that in mind. So relationships connected to career changes, connected to role changes, connected to project changes are coming in the mind or coming in the limelight. Relations with supervisors, higher ups are coming into the limelight. Standing in society, stature in society is coming up with some very good Gachkesi energy for you. And this is all overall going to be very balanced because of Jupiter's aspect on Rahu as well as on the Libra sign. However, because moon sign is where we are looking at Rahu impacting the moon being in the Gemini sign, moon also rules the second house. So the second house which moon rules, Cancer sign, is also going to come into play. So the decision that you take with respect to career may also be linked to somewhere your remuneration, your livelihood. So be careful what kind of decisions making that you are taking for your livelihood perspective. Some of you may go for a better remuneration, better livelihood, better pay, rather than a stable job, rather than a role, rather than a larger brand or a bigger brand. So be careful, don't be fooled by higher remuneration or higher livelihood or higher salary alone. Do look at the overall situation of the organization, whether people leave very quickly, whether the culture of the organization supports you and all, because this will have a stronger bearing going forward. Whatever decision that you make, you may not be able to change quickly over the next 3-4 years, at least related to career. With Saturn being in your 10th house and for a long period of 2.5 years. Moon aspecting the 7th house also is going to have a stronger bearing on what kind of people you connect. Jupiter is also aspecting the 7th house and the Sagittarius sign. So there is going to be stronger aspect on you may become more adventure prone. You may take slightly higher risks than are needed. So be really careful. While Jupiter is impacting the Sagittarius sign, so you are in more safer zone, but Rahu's aspect is also on Jupiter sometimes. So whichever is the stronger planet in your horoscope, in your natal chart, may take over. So try and be more balanced in kind of decision making that you're doing, with whom you're working, with whom you're getting into a committed relationship, because this will surely be impacting your mental makeup over the next few years. Now, for those people who have a Cancer moon sign, which means moon is in its own sign of Cancer in your natal chart. Now, this has a strong bearing on the kind of results you will get. Firstly, Rahu is the north node of the moon. So Rahu strongly impacts your decision making, your choices, specifically where it comes to where you have a choice between two difficult choices. So here you may have a tendency, because of Rahu's strong impact on the moon, how you think, how you take decisions. So there may be strong impact that you lean more towards the emotional side, specifically because moon is in the Cancer sign. So moon is enhancing the emotional perspective, the emotional capabilities, the emotional leanings of how you are going to make decisions. So Rahu being the north node is going to slightly impact or increase or give slightly more impetus to the emotional side. So you need to be careful, because here we are talking from a Lagna, moon sign Lagna perspective. So Cancer sign is also the sign of caring and being empathetic towards sometimes with people, and sometimes even leaning more and being sympathetic. So be careful that not falling too much on the emotional side, not trying to be too kind, not trying to be too giving, not trying to be too charitable, because you may lose in the long run. So try to be more balanced in the emotional perspective of your decision making. Whenever you're taking a decision during this phase, ask yourself, am I being more emotional or am I truly being practical? Now, however you may think, in spite of you thinking that you're taking a more practical decision, the impact that Rahu has on the moon is so strong that sometimes you may even assume that you're taking a practical decision, though you're leaning maybe emotional. That's why you need to be careful. And why you need to be more careful? Because from a Cancer moon sign perspective, Rahu is in the 8th house. So the choices that you're going to make can transform your career, transform or change your stature in society, which can transform the kind of assets that you're making, or may bring about a change in your financial security for the long run. So be careful. Sometimes the decision making can be in such a way that you will bring unnecessary problems or challenges on your own. So if you lean more towards the emotional side, if you lean more towards the softer side rather than trying to be more practical, then you may invite unnecessary obstructions, challenges, problems because of Rahu's 8th house placement from your moon sign perspective. So keep your guard. Secondly, Rahu's aspect is on the 12th house and the Aries sign. So a number of you may also maybe go for higher expenses without thinking. Cancer is in the moon is in the Cancer sign. Cancer sign is also the 4th house. So moon going in Cancer sign is also conveniences, assets. You end up paying too much money or spending too much money on buying conveniences or doing up your home or repairing the home or painting the home. Some of those expenses may not be needed, so be careful of how you spend your money. Now, Jupiter aspecting the Rahu back may give you some balance in how you make decisions in terms of where you're spending the money. But Jupiter also expands the house and the nature of the house. So sometimes if Rahu is stronger in your natal chart, then Rahu may overcome Jupiter and Jupiter will expand the spending urge that you have in your during this phase. So guard against the urge to overspend just because you think you want better things or you think things are needed while things may not be needed. You may be just splurging, assuming those are needed. So be very careful and take a second opinion. Ask your family members, I'm trying to buy this. Is this really needed? Secondly, a simple rule that I will share with you. If you don't need something for more than twice in a year, or if you're not going to use it for more than 8 to 10 hours in a year, then you really don't need that thing. If something is lying in your basement, something is lying in some cupboard, and you're not using that stuff, whatever the item is, for more than twice in a year or 8 to 10 hours in a year, then what's the point of keeping that thing? Because through the year you didn't need it, then probably you don't need it at all. Secondly, Rahu's aspect is also on the 4th house, but in the Libra sign. So in terms of your relationship, you may end up spending more. So 4th house is your domestic life from your Cancer moon point of view. And here it is the Libra sign. Rahu's 9th aspect is there. So trying to get more gains from your domestic life or hoping that you will get more love and affection, they may like you. So trying to get that affection from them, trying to get the attention, you may end up spending more. Or you may put in more effort to keep your family happy, the domestic life happy, or bring in new connection, new commitment through the 8th house effect. So some of you may suddenly meet somebody who seems to be very good for you, and very quickly you may fall into a relationship, into a committed relationship also. So guard against it because moon is in the Cancer sign. Rahu is strongly giving it impetus also. So as long as you are able to take care of these and Jupiter's aspect go both on the 4th house and Rahu, you are in safe house. As long as Rahu and Jupiter have a more balanced energy or dignity in your natal chart. But if any one of them has an upper hand, then those results are going to be impacted. So my urge to you would be that try and keep a balanced approach during this period when Rahu is in Aquarius, because this is a time where the emotional side may get the better side of the practical. Now, for those people who have a moon in the sign of Leo in your natal chart. So firstly, Leo is the sign of leadership, accountability, and Leo is also the sign of taking responsibility for your own actions. Now, when moon is in the Leo sign, what it does is it creates an emotional impact. It brings in an empathetic impact on your decision making, even from a leadership perspective, even from an accountability perspective. So some of you may assume that you are taking leadership, accountability on leaning towards the practical side. Though you may be actually leaning more toward the emotional side, even in your decision making, even in your accountability, even in your leadership. So be careful what kind of decision that you take, assuming that these are more practical decisions, these are more responsibility-oriented decisions. Secondly, moon's aspect is also on Rahu in the 7th house. From a moon sign perspective, the moon is in the Leo sign, and then moon is going to aspect Rahu, and Rahu gets into transit into Aquarius. So now moon is strongly aspecting Rahu. However, Rahu itself is the north node of the moon. So Rahu's impact on moon is very strong because it is the north node. So it is going to activate that. And because moon is going to aspect Rahu, moon is going to give more of that caring, empathetic, the energy, the emotional perspective to Rahu even more. So which means the emotional side of you will be enhanced more or activated more during the transit of Rahu into Aquarius, because moon is impacting or enhancing Rahu, while Rahu impacts moon in turn also. So whichever sign Rahu is placed in your natal chart, that will also activate or be activated from a more empathetic, caring part. Now, if Rahu has a strong connection with either the Cancer sign by being placed in the Cancer sign or aspecting the Cancer sign in your natal chart, or Rahu has a strong connection with the moon in your natal chart, either being conjunct with it or aspecting the moon, then your decision making during this period when Rahu gets into Aquarius is going to enhance the emotional perspective, the sympathetic perspective, the empathetic perspective, the caring perspective, and your decision making also may also lean towards the emotional, specifically because of Rahu also having a strong bearing or connection with moon or Cancer sign in your natal chart. So be on your guard that what responsibilities are you taking, what goals are you taking, what projects are you getting into through your work, through your career, and you may get into a partnership or you may be asked to team up with people. One thing is certain, during this transit, you will be asked to team up with different kind of people. There will be changes in your team makeup. There may be changes in the role that you play in the current setup that you are playing with people. So the partnership that you have will also change, or the perspective that you have on partnership may change, or new projects may come into question. So be on your guard what kind of decision that you take in terms of what kind of equations you're making. Rahu's aspect is on the 11th house, but on Jupiter there and in Gemini. So it is going to enhance your decision making connected to your social connections. So some of you may also want to meet up with new friends, make new friends, and here your communication skills may come to your help. Jupiter is expanding your social circle and Rahu is also giving it strong impetus through your communication. So some of you will be very suave, you'll be very sophisticated, you may attract new friends, but be on the guard what kind of friends you make. Because Rahu being in the 7th house, you may get into some long-term commitment or partnership, tying up with people even in work, which may not be the best for you. Rahu's other aspect is the Libra sign and in the 3rd house. So Rahu is strongly impacting the effort that you put in terms of your teamwork, in your partnership and your social connections. So my suggestion to you will be careful of who you are tying up with, who you are getting into a connection with or teaming up with or getting into partnership with, because you may end up in a long-term thing and you may not be able to get out of it quickly. So be on your guard, be on your urge, specifically Leo giving the higher energy. So you may take more responsibility for your relations, your team also, and your connections, which you should be more on the guard. Now Jupiter is playing a part because Jupiter is also impacting both the signs where Rahu is placed and where Rahu is aspecting. So Jupiter is going to obviously give you the balance in terms of decision making. However, you still will be accountable for the decision that you make. You will still be wanting more stature and standing in society. So be on your guard of what kind of decision that you make, especially because Moon is giving the emotional side more impetus. Now, for those people who are born in the Virgo moon sign, which means Moon is placed in your Virgo sign in your natal chart. So for such people, you will see that Moon placed in the Virgo sign in your natal chart is aspecting Saturn, which has gone into the Pisces sign with the 7th aspect. So Moon has given you a stronger bearing on your stability, your commitment, your teamwork orientation, because Moon is aspecting Saturn in the Pisces sign. But Saturn rules Aquarius, where Rahu is getting into in transit. So Moon is in turn impacting both Rahu and Saturn. However, keep in mind that Rahu is the north node of the Moon. So Rahu anyways has a stronger bearing on how your mind thinks. Rahu gives the hunger and greed to your mind. Without your mind moving towards something, the choices will not be made. The decisions will not be made. So yeah, you may be getting into situations there may be difficult choices, there may be difficult alternates. Whether you need to take this decision or that decision, it may not be easy. So go for stability. Moon is anyways leading you towards stability because Moon is impacting Saturn. However, you may think a certain decision is more practical for you. However, in the long run, it may not be as practical as you think it is. So be a little careful there. Secondly, Rahu is impacting Jupiter in the 10th house and Gemini sign. So from emotional perspective, you may lean towards those roles or those jobs where you may assume that you are doing more for the organization, you're doing more for the department, you're doing more for the industry, you're doing more for the team, but it may not be the case. Rahu being in the 6th house from a moon sign perspective for Virgo moon sign people. So you are going to have some challenges where you have to play a balance between standing up for yourself and standing up for the team, standing up for your partnership also, specifically with Saturn being in the 7th house. So be on your guard, don't be too giving, because if you're being too giving, too charitable, too moon-sided, emotional sided person, then you may end up doing more for others. Some of them may be inimical to you, some of them may be competitive to you or competition to you. So be on your guard where you're leaning towards, who you're doing what to. And guard on your communication, because you may overcommit in your zealousness to come up out as more helpful. And because Rahu is also impacting with its 9th aspect, the 2nd house, and the Libra sign. So sometimes you may assume that your relationships are going to help you to be able to get more money, more remuneration, more livelihood. But it may not be the case. So be on your guard in terms of what kind of career decision that you take. Jupiter is expanding the ability to be able to get into new roles, into new job, into a new opportunity as well. But keep in mind that you will also face a lot of competition when you're going for this. Some of you may get into some competitive exam or competitive situation and come on top if you are more practical rather than more emotional. So overall, for Virgo sign people, from Virgo moon sign perspective, you will find that some of the choices that you have are going to be good, because Jupiter is also aspecting the 2nd house as well as Rahu. And Saturn is also aspecting Moon back, giving more commitment, more stability in your decision making, and giving you a push towards more stable results over the next 2.5-3 years. So any decision that you make towards career, towards relationship, towards commitment, towards your livelihood, keep in mind and slightly be more leaning towards yourself than for others. Now, for those people who have a Libra moon sign, which means moon is placed in your Libra sign in your natal chart, for these people, moon is going to aspect the 7th house and the sign of Aries in your natal chart. Now, moon placed in Libra itself means that relationships are in the focus in your life. Connections are important, acquaintances are important, friendships are important. So yeah, because Rahu is getting into the Aquarius sign and it is going to impact the moon through its aspect, so this period of Rahu getting into Aquarius is going to play a strong role in your life in terms of what kind of decision you make in terms of your relationships. So you will find that through your connections, through your relationships, you will get a lot of focus and attention towards changes that you may get either in a goal or in a role or in your career, and also towards investments. There is some relationship who you want to follow. Somebody has invested some money in some house or in some shares. You may also want to follow the same example, and you may get into that kind of an investment, or you may get into that kind of commitment emotionally, which may not be long-term good for you. So be a little careful what kind of choices you make on speculative investments, what kind of choices that you make in getting into new partnership, into new investments as well, from assets perspective also. Secondly, you will find that Rahu's aspect is also on the moon, while Jupiter also aspects it. So Jupiter is going to expand the choices that you make in terms of a career, long distance also, because Jupiter is aspecting moon along with Rahu from the 9th house, while Rahu is aspecting moon from the 5th house. Now, this has a strong bearing because Jupiter is expanding the result that you get from your relations, from your connections, from your acquaintances. Now, what is important is where Rahu is placed in your natal chart. If Rahu has any connection with Cancer sign, either by being placed in the Cancer sign in your natal chart or aspecting it, or place conjunct with moon, or Rahu is aspecting moon in your natal chart, this has a stronger bearing, which means there will be strong urge to change, bring a change in your romantic relationship, bring a change in your career, bring a change in your investments, even long term. So be careful of what kind of decision you take on these three areas. On romantic love zones, a new connection may come, which may seem to be very inviting on the surface, and you may think this is something which is good for you. The last one was not so practical for you, but you may find you will fall into the same thing again. The person that you are getting attracted to is not very different from the person that you are with or have been with. So be careful in terms of choices that you make on the romantic side. However, many opportunities on the romantic side are surely coming for Libra moon sign people. Moon is in Libra. Moon is aspecting your 7th house of relationship. Rahu is impacting moon with the 9th aspect. Jupiter is expanding it. What can you say? So plethora of opportunities for new relations, new connections, new acquaintances are coming for Libra moon sign people during this period. On the other hand, you will also find that there are going to be certain changes which are going to come in your lifestyle also, in terms of you going for high expenses, maybe going for travel, maybe buying conveniences and all, just to prep yourself up to be able to have a stronger impact on the opposite gender. So be careful of what kind of decision that you make in these three areas, and then you will find that you're better safe than sorry. Now, for those people who have the Scorpio moon sign, which means moon is in the Scorpio sign in your natal chart. Now, on the face, this is a tough situation because moon is debilitated in your natal chart. However, moon from the Scorpio sign in your natal chart impacts or aspects the Taurus sign, which means you are going to have an energy of wanting a change in your remuneration. So many times you will find that you may assume that you are a more practical person, you are somebody who is more balanced. However, there may be more balance towards nutrition or money also in your life, which you may not sometimes accept. You may say, I'm not a money-minded person, but finances are very important for you. If money is there in the bank, financial situation is taken care of, then you find that you're more stable in your mind. Ask yourself, specifically all those people who have moon in Scorpio sign or Scorpio moon sign people. Ask yourself if there is hardly any money in the bank and there are certain loans that you need to pay off. Are you really still able to control your mind, or you don't get too a little frisky? So there's surely going to be that side towards you, and that is going to be impacted or stronger given urge to now that Rahu gets into Aquarius sign. The reason being is for Scorpio moon sign people, Rahu gets into the 4th house in Aquarius. 4th house has the Cancer energies for the Kalpurush Kundli. So Rahu is strongly going to impact how it is going to have a bearing on your domestic front. What kind of decision on the domestic front in your home that you have. So either home may not be the most comfortable place for you during this period, or you may feel lonely, or you may feel out of place even when you're with some people, if that person really is not somebody who you really can get along, you can laugh with, you can smile with, you can spend your time with, and who you really strongly relate to. Then you are going to feel a little out of place during this period. Anyways, Rahu is the north node of the moon, which means Rahu always has the strong bearing on the moon, the kind of decision that you make. So Rahu getting into Aquarius may give you a strong leaning towards the social side. You may want to give back to the masses. You may want to do something for other people. However, while Rahu is in the 4th house from a moon side perspective, you will find that you may always wanting to, while you want to do things for others, you will always want that tranquility, the peace at home on the domestic front, which you will strongly, lean towards, or you may want towards. And you may miss that to a certain extent. So that urge Rahu is creating. And if in your natal chart, Rahu has some bearing or some connection with the Cancer sign in your natal chart, by either being placed in the Cancer sign or aspecting the Cancer sign, or Rahu is either conjunct with moon in your natal chart or aspects the moon in the natal chart, then it has a stronger bearing on what kind of approach you may take towards the domestic life, towards peace, towards tranquility and assets, and money in the bank also. Rahu impacting or aspecting the 8th house, which means there will be some transformation at the domestic front, which may come by for you, may come as an opportunity for you. However, be careful of not getting into that connection or commitment too easily without having known the person very well, without not getting into a committed relationship unless you're absolutely sure of the person. Now, Jupiter is going to help you because of Jupiter aspecting Rahu back, but from the 8th house. So Jupiter expanding the nature of the 8th house, suddenness, transformation, even obstacles. Specifically, if Rahu is more stronger in your natal chart than then Jupiter doesn't have an upper hand. Rahu has an upper hand here. And Rahu in Aquarius is also aspecting the 12th house. The 12th house is also the house of dreams, desires, which means sometimes through your desires and a dream to get into a certain situation or a certain kind of relationship, a certain kind of job, you may end up being more emotional. And because Moon is in that Scorpio sign in your natal chart, wanting the change, wanting the transformation. So such kind of people are not able to sit idle for long, always wanting the change, wanting the urge. So be on the guard. Not be urged too much towards transformation and change. Be on the guard of how much you're giving back to society, and be on your guard what kind of domestic life decision that you're taking. Now, for those people who have a Sagittarius moon sign, which means moon is in the sign of Sagittarius in your natal chart. So now for these people, this is a slightly better period because your Jupiter's already gone into the Gemini sign and aspecting your moon in its transit, aspecting your natal moon. And natal moon is aspecting or transiting Jupiter. So this is a strong Gachkesari yoga. The aspecting Gachkesari yoga and the conjunct Gachkesari yoga is the strongest. Though it is for a temporary period, or this is a pseudo Gachkesari yoga because they are not together or aspecting each other in the natal chart. But one is in the natal chart, one is in the transiting side. So, but this is surely getting activated for the 1 year. Now, what is important is Rahu is the north node of the moon. So this Gachkesari yoga is also getting an impetus through Rahu. And Rahu is also very strongly placed. If it is strongly placed in your natal chart, it has a stronger bearing. But here it is getting into the Aquarius sign, which is also ruled by Saturn. Rahu and Saturn co-rule Aquarius. And Saturn has gone into the Pisces sign, the 4th house. That's why this has a stronger impact, because the 4th house has the Kalpurush Kundli, Cancer sign energies. So Saturn getting into the 4th house, which has the moon energies, moon being in the sign of Sagittarius, which means you may be adventurous, trying to take a decision towards more stability at home. But you need to be careful because moon rules the Cancer sign in your natal chart. Moon rules the Cancer sign in your... because moon rules the Cancer sign, but Cancer sign is the 8th house for Sagittarius moon sign people. So through sudden transformation or change or sudden equations, sudden events, you may end up taking more risky decisions connected to home. Rahu in the 3rd house, which means you may also say something, commit something, wanting to impact people, wanting a certain decision, because of which you may make an overcommitment and may not be able to deliver. Now, good thing for Sagittarius moon sign people, moon being in the 1st house in Sagittarius, Saturn being in the 4th house in Pisces, Jupiter being in the Gemini sign in the 7th house. So there are 3 important planets which are in the Kendra houses. So the Kendra houses are strongly getting activated here. So relationship, assets, stature, standing in society are all getting activated and getting the impetus through Rahu, because Rahu is impacting all. Rahu is impacting Saturn because Rahu and Saturn co-rule Aquarius. Rahu is impacting Jupiter by Rahu aspecting Jupiter and Jupiter aspecting Rahu back. And Rahu is impacting Moon because Rahu is the north node of the Moon. So the 3 Kendra houses are strongly impacted and activated. So make the best use of it for Sagittarius moon sign people. And because Rahu is aspecting the 11th house of wishes and desires, one wish or desire of yours is surely going to come good, because both Rahu is aspecting the 11th house and Jupiter is aspecting the 11th house of relationships. And the Libra sign also has the 7th house energies, where Jupiter is gone into and Moon is aspecting. So one wish and desire of yours is surely going to come good, but you'll have to put in effort towards that, because Rahu is placed in the 3rd house. So with effort towards more stable decision making, towards taking some risks, some good change, some one wish and desires are surely coming good for Sagittarius moon sign people. Now, for those people who have the Capricorn moon sign, which means moon is in the sign of Capricorn in your natal chart. So, for such people with Capricorn moon sign people, moon being in Capricorn sign in your natal chart is aspecting its own sign, Cancer sign, in the 7th house. So 7th house is activated, the Cancer sign is activated. Now this is important because Rahu is the north node of the moon and Rahu is gone into the 2nd house. And Rahu is also impacting your Libra sign in the 10th house. So relationships are getting impacted both by Rahu aspecting the Libra sign, moon aspecting the Cancer sign in the 7th house from the moon sign perspective. So relationship, partnership, acquaintances, connections, commitment is getting activated strongly for you. But this is getting more connected towards relationship, connected to work, connected to livelihood, connected to your remuneration. So make the best use of this because the decision that you make should be leaning towards the practical. Now, Rahu in the 2nd house, which means sometimes you may lean more towards money in the bank, better remuneration. However, this zodiac is telling you, this transit is telling you with Rahu's aspect on the 10th house, take a decision more connected to role, situation, organization, team, rather than money alone, because money alone being the decision maker may mislead you. And the money may be good or slightly better, but the situation of work should be more important for you because the kind of people that you end up working because of the 7-7 connections, Rahu aspecting Libra sign, which is the 7th house, moon impacting the 7th house, but in the Cancer sign may end up making you work harder or get into a team where you have to prop up the team more and in fact balance the teamwork more. So be more careful in your decision making. Don't allow remuneration of money to be the sole guiding factor. Rahu aspecting the 6th house, which means you may have to overcome competition when you have to take the decision. However, Jupiter plays there is expanding the service orientation. So through a service orientation role or service orientation leaning, you may be able to get better money if you make a right choice in terms of making a more practical choice. Now, while we may assume Rahu may help you make practical choices, but because Rahu is the north node of the moon, it's always going to have an emotional perspective. So while you may assume you're making a more practical choice, you may end up taking a more emotional choice rather than practical, specifically connected to people, connected to acquaintances, connected to your connections. So be careful of what kind of choices that you make connected to work, connected to teamwork, and connected to relationship as well. Now, Jupiter has a strong bearing of both aspecting Rahu in the 2nd house. So Jupiter is going to give you the added advantage in terms of wise decision making, in terms of remuneration and your career. However, please note that moon being in the Capricorn sign, which means career is surely getting impacted. Capricorn is the 10th house of the Kalpurish Kundi through a more emotional perspective that you may end up taking towards career rather than a practical. So Jupiter is going to add and expand the emotional connect to career. Rahu is also impacting that, and Cancer and moon is in the Capricorn sign. So be careful of what kind of choices that you make connected to career also, and you may overcome it in your work and burn the midnight oil just to finish the commitment. So play a more practical role towards yourself, towards work, towards money, because this is a time where work is going to be on the focus mode rather than your domestic life. Now, for those people who have an Aquarius moon sign, which means moon is in the sign of Aquarius in your natal chart. Now, Rahu getting into Aquarius. So, Rahu is strongly creating a pseudo or a temporary conjunction with the moon. So, Rahu getting conjuncted with the moon, which means Rahu is eclipsing the moon in its transit. So Rahu is eclipsing the natal moon in the Lagna from a moon sign perspective, moon being in the Aquarius sign. So here, your stature in society, your standing in society, it's all going to be impacted by the urge, the hunger, the greed Rahu is going to give you, impacting the moon strongly. Now remember, Rahu is the north node of the moon. As it does, it impacts your leaning, your mental makeup, where your focus is, where your attention is, where you're moving towards anyways. However, here the impact is going to be stronger. And because moon also rules the 6th house of competition, litigation, problems, challenges, health challenges also. So all these will also be activated some way or the other. So you need to be on your guard against competition, against people who may be working below you, or those people who are always out to get you. Secondly, be on the guard against health issues. Don't overindulge in some food or drink, and also don't take too much to heart. Don't take too much tension. Don't overthink, because then you may activate the 6th house and unnecessarily get into depression, challenges, tension, frustration, sleepless nights and all that. So be on your guard, because Rahu is strongly impacting the moon. Rahu's aspect being on the 5th house, but in the Gemini sign, but the 5th house. So here you may say something in your romantic liaison which may be used against you in the long run. So be careful of what you say. Be careful of what you commit. Be careful of what facts you may give, because those facts may turn out to be alternate facts. Or you may be caught lying. You may be caught cheating also. If you get a very urge towards somebody new, somebody more attractive. So be careful. Jupiter is expanding the house and Gemini sign. So Jupiter will expand. Whatever Rahu is saying, Jupiter will expand that. So Rahu is lying, Jupiter will also expand that. Specifically, if in your natal chart Rahu is stronger, then Rahu has the upper hand. So be careful. Rahu is also aspecting the Libra sign in the 9th house. So in the long distance journey, or in a workshop, or in an educational situation, you may end up getting connected to somebody which may turn out to be a romantic liaison also, but may not be with the right person, because Rahu is strongly impacting the moon. So you fall for the wrong person and you think you're deeply in love with them or you're attracted towards them. That decision long term may not be good, and that may impact your standing in society, your stature in society, how people look at you. It may also impact your dignity. So be careful of on the relationship side. Surely. Now, moon is aspecting Ketu in the 7th house, but in the sign of Leo. So we'll anyways talk about the Ketu's transit into Leo from moon sign perspective later on. But now, because moon is impacting Ketu, so this is also going to give you some intuitive powers. So you will find that sometimes when you're trying to take a decision, suddenly intuition may come to you, some background sound may come, do this. So don't ignore that. That may be something which is helping you to take a decision. So while sitting and while driving or doing something, suddenly some thought comes to it, give it due consideration. If you are busy, write it down. Think about it later, because that is going to be, so your intuitive power is surely going to be enhanced. So overall, for Aquarius moon sign people, a fantastic period for change, innovation, transformation, new connections, new romantic connections, meeting new people, and increasing your stature and standing in society over the next 18 months. Now, for those people who have the Pisces moon sign, which means moon's in the Pisces sign in your natal chart. Now, this is a very important period for those people who have the Pisces moon sign, because here you are finding that moon has gone into the Pisces sign where Saturn is already, which means moon is in the Pisces sign in your natal chart where Saturn is already transited into Pisces. So Saturn getting over your natal moon is creating a peak Sadesati period for you. So this is a very, very strong period, because the peak Sadesati is activated for Pisces moon sign people. So now, moon is strongly impacted by Saturn and creating the wish dosha, which is not an easy dosha to deal with. However, moon in the Pisces sign gives you a lot of optimism to take a decision. So Saturn is impacting the positivity, the optimism with which you may take a decision. Even though it may be a wrong decision, it will make you very optimistic towards it, and you may take a decision, because Saturn is completely impacting your mind with you being in the peak Sadesati. So be careful because of that. And why this is important? Because Rahu is in the Aquarius sign. Aquarius sign is co-ruled by Rahu and Saturn. So the wish dosha is strongly impacted, strongly given an impetus to also, because of Rahu and Saturn connection to connected to Aquarius. And Rahu is the north node of the moon. So Saturn is activating moon anyways. Rahu being the north node of the moon is also giving an impetus to the positivity, to the optimism. In fact, it may be an idealistic optimism, which may not be completely true. So be on your guard against what you are thinking during this period. Don't be over-optimistic towards any decision. Be more practical, lean toward the practical. Now, it is better, easier said than done, because many times with Rahu involved, we assume we are taking a practical decision, but Rahu is the north node of the moon. So many times we assume we are taking a practical decision, though it is still leaning towards the emotional. So Rahu gives you the hunger and the urge to satisfy your inner leanings, inner hunger, which is also connected to moon. Remember, moon gets exalted in the Taurus sign, which is connected to nutrition. So be careful of what kind of decision making you take. This is going to have a strong bearing on your standing in society, on your status, and on your dignity and your prestige. So any wrong decision can have a long-term impact on your prestige, on your dignity, how people see you. Also be careful and consider many aspects. Now, Rahu being in the 12th house from the moon sign perspective is strongly activating the 12th house. Foreign lands, foreign connections, foreign consultants, working for foreign brands, working for foreign companies. So some foreign element is coming into the mix. And both Saturn and moon aspecting your 7th house with the Virgo sign. So it is also impacting or going to impact the health related perspective, because Virgo sign is the 6th house of in your Kalpurush Kundi, and the 12th house are connected to clinics and hospitals, which means if you are not careful, you may end up unnecessarily spoiling your health during this period. So be careful of what kind of food and drink that you indulge in, what kind of nutrition that you take in. But it has a stronger bearing on the 12th house, foreign lands, foreign consultants, foreign income, foreign earning, foreign travel, all those are also getting connected. And because Rahu aspects the 4th house and Jupiter there, so the 4th house, which means the home is getting strongly impacted by either high expenses, high urges, wanting to invest, wanting a better house, wanting a bigger house, wanting a more beautiful house, wanting more things in the house, wanting more conveniences in the house, or wanting to go abroad for a holiday, for work, connected to foreign people also. For those people who are uncommitted, there will be some connection which may come either from foreign lands or somebody from your country who lives in foreign lands, or is from your country but holding a foreign passport, for example. Jupiter is giving impetus, so Jupiter is also expanding that, and Jupiter is also aspecting Rahu, along with Rahu aspecting it back, and Saturn's aspect is also in the 7th house and relationships. So a relationship which may end up becoming inimical or not so good for you in the long run may also be impacted if you're not careful on the domestic front. So overall, Rahu and Jupiter both aspecting the 8th house in the Libra sign, which means a sudden relationship, sudden equation comes into the picture, and you end up getting into long-term relationship, which may impact the standing in society, dignity, and your prestige. So be careful of what kind of decision that you make. However, overall, for Pisces moon sign people, a period of high optimism, a period of high, urge to do better in life, to have a better standing in society, stature in society, connected to foreign lands, connected to income, connected to investments, connected to new romantic liaison also. However, most of it is getting activated to the 8th house. Sudden issues, sudden transformations, sudden changes, sudden opportunities all coming go. So one of the most exciting periods is coming for Pisces moon sign people. Make the best use of this period. So friends, now that we have seen how from a moon sign perspective, Rahu's transit into Aquarius is going to play out different opportunities, different choices, different decision making for us. Do see how Rahu and Moon are placed in the natal chart, what dignity they are in, whether they are in some yogas or doshas, because that is also going to have a strong bearing on the overall results. Friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link given below. Until some other time, some other video, this is a friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.